You crawl out of your mother's pouch, somewhere in Australia, and you're barely the size of a jelly bean. Your back legs aren't working yet, so you drag yourself up through her fur with your front claws until you find the opening and pull yourself inside. You latch onto a teat and hold on, and for the next several weeks, that's all you do. Then one day your grip slips. You drop straight out of the pouch and hit the dirt. Your mother keeps walking, so you scramble after her back legs with your front claws scraping the ground, trying to close the gap before she gets too far. She slows down just enough and lowers herself, so you grab her fur and pull yourself back up toward the pouch opening. But before you make it, something moves in the grass nearby. A monitor lizard pushes through the low scrub with its tongue moving in and out, working its way toward you. Your mother spins and drives both back legs hard into the side of the lizard's body, sending it sideways into the dirt. It rights itself and backs away slowly, then turns and disappears into the scrub. You pull yourself the rest of the way into the pouch and lock onto the teat again. A few weeks pass, and your back legs start working. You push your head out over the pouch's edge and look down at the ground for the first time. The dirt is dry, and the scrub stretches out in every direction. You drop out on purpose this time, and your legs hold. Your mother is already digging a few steps away, driving her long snout into the soil and pulling something out. You have no idea how to do that yet, but you're about to find out. You're 2 months old now. You follow your mother across the scrub with your legs still a little unsteady, watching every move she makes. She stops, drives her snout straight down into the dirt, and pulls out a beetle grub with a quick twist of her head. You copy her exactly, pushing your snout into the same kind of patch and digging down, but you pull up only dry clumps of dirt and come up with nothing. You try a second spot, then a third. On the fourth try, your snout hits something soft and you pull out a small worm, dragging it free from the soil. That's your first real meal. But then, a larger juvenile bandicoot, one of your mother's older offspring, shoves in from the side and starts digging in the exact patch you just cleared. You step toward him, and he turns with his body low and his head down, holding his position. You back off and move to a new patch a little further along. Your mother doesn't intervene. She just keeps digging and moving forward. So you do the same, working your way along the ground and pulling out whatever you can find. Grubs, beetles, the occasional worm. You're slow, and you miss more than you catch, but by the time she starts moving back toward the sleeping area, your stomach has something in it. The older juvenile follows at a distance for a while, then peels off into the scrub. He knows this ground better than you do, and for now, that gives him the edge. But you're learning the same ground every day, and soon the gap between you will start to close. You're 4 months old now, and your mother stops letting you follow her. She turns when you get close and holds her ground until you back away. After a few days of this, you stop trying and start moving in the other direction. You find a stretch of low scrubland with loose soil and start learning its edges. The digging here is good, and you work through most of it in the first few days, pulling up grubs and small beetles and the occasional centipede. Then one afternoon, another bandicoot, bigger than you and moving with the kind of ease that comes from knowing a patch well, crosses into your stretch and starts digging. You need this ground, so you lower your head and run straight at him. He's bigger, but you catch him off guard, and he lifts his head and takes a step back. You hold your position and keep your head low. He looks at you for a moment, then turns and moves back the way he came. A few days later, a goanna comes through. It moves slowly with its tongue working in and out, crossing directly through your patch. You drop flat against the dirt and stay still, with your brown coat pressing into the ground. It passes within a couple of meters without changing direction, and then it's gone. You stay flat for a while longer before pushing back up and returning to your dig site. The encounter teaches you something important. Running doesn't always work, and sometimes the best move is to stay exactly where you are and wait for the threat to pass. You file that away. Your patch is small, but it's yours, and holding it is going to take more than just digging. You're 7 months old now. The soil across your whole patch has gone hard and the grubs have pushed deeper, so every dig takes longer and gives back less. You've been working the same stretch for days and pulling up almost nothing. One afternoon, you follow a trail of disturbed soil further from your usual ground than you'd normally go, stepping out into a wider open stretch between two patches of scrub. You find something worth digging and start working. Then a shadow passes over you and you look up. A wedge-tailed eagle is circling with its wings flat and its head angled straight down at you. You need cover, so you run hard toward the nearest bush with your legs driving into the dirt. The eagle drops fast and clips your back with one talon, sending you tumbling sideways through the dirt. You roll once and come up running again, throwing yourself into the base of a dense bush and pushing in as far as you can go. You stay in there for a long time with one shoulder bleeding where the talon caught you. The eagle circles twice more, then tilts away and rises. When you come out, you go straight back toward your patch and stay close to cover the whole way. The wound on your shoulder stiffens over the next couple of days, but doesn't stop you from digging. What it does do is change how you move across open ground. You cross it fast now, always with a destination in sight before you leave cover. The eagle taught you that open ground isn't neutral. It belongs to whatever is watching from above. You're 10 months old now. You pick up a scent trail crossing through the edge of your patch and follow it without thinking, moving further from your ground than usual as it leads you through a stretch of low scrub and toward a rocky rise. A female bandicoot is moving along the base of the rocks with her head low. When she sees you, she runs, so you follow, cutting wide around a fallen log and getting ahead of her before she reaches the other side. She stops and turns to face you. Then her posture drops and she holds still. Mating is quick. Then you hear movement behind you. Another male comes out of the scrub, bigger than you, moving directly toward her. You don't move back. You run run at him and bite hard into his flank before he can set himself, and he twists and slashes your ear with his front claws. You hold the bite and drag sideways, pulling him off balance, and he wrenches free and backs up. You stand between him and the female with your head low. He looks at you, then turns and walks back into the scrub. When you turn around, the female is already gone. You stand on the rocky ground with your ear torn and your flank scraped, and there's nothing left to defend. But you held your ground against a bigger animal and made him back down. That's something you didn't know you could do until now, and somewhere out there a new set of Joeys is going to carry that forward. You're 1 year old now. You know every corner of your patch, which soil is loose enough to dig fast, which logs shelter the most beetles after rain, and which open stretches to cross without slowing down. Most days follow a routine and it works. Then one afternoon the far edge of your patch starts changing. A thin line of smoke rises from the scrub to the west, and within a short time, the bush at the edge of your ground is burning and pushing toward you. You run east, away from it, crossing into ground you don't know with other animals moving in the same direction around you. A rabbit bolts past. A goanna cuts across in front of you. You keep moving until the smoke is behind you and the ground under your feet is clear. You wait near a cluster of rocks for a long time before going back. When you return, the western half of your patch is burned flat, with the soil black and the scrub reduced to sticks. Half your feeding ground is gone, but then you notice something. The burned soil is soft and broken open, and grubs and beetles are pushing up through it to the surface. You dig your snout in, and pull out more in a single dig than you'd been getting all week from the unburned ground. You move across the burned section, digging fast, pulling up more with each push. The fire took half your patch and gave it back better than before. But the other bandicoots are going to notice the same thing, and some of them will want what you've just found. You're 1.5 years old now. You cross into a female's territory on the far side of the rocky rise, and she doesn't run this time. A few weeks later, you pass through her patch, and she's moving slower than usual, with her body sitting lower and her pouch full. You go back to your own ground. The burned section has grown back in patches, and the digging is steady again. You work your way along the edge each day, pulling grubs and keeping the boundaries of your patch clear when other bandicoots come too close. One morning, the female comes through your patch with 3 joeys riding on her back, too big for the pouch, and gripping her fur with their front claws as she moves. They scatter when they see you, 2 of them bolting into the nearest bush, but the third one doesn't run. It stands near your dig site and watches you push your snout into the ground and pull out a grub. Then it lowers its own head and pushes its snout into the dirt next to yours. It digs in the wrong spot and comes up with nothing. Then it tries again a little further along and pulls out a small worm, holding it in its mouth for a moment before swallowing. It looks up at you. You step around it and keep digging. It follows you down the line, copying each push of your snout. It's doing exactly what you did a year ago, learning the same way you learned, from watching something that already knows how. You're 2.5 years old now. Your patch is well worn and your roots through it are fixed. The same crossings, the same gaps between the scrub, the same open stretch between the eastern log and the rocky rise that you've crossed without slowing down hundreds of times. One afternoon, you finish working the burned section and move east toward the rocky rise, crossing the open stretch the same way you always do. The ground is dry and the scrub on either side sits still. A fox has been lying flat in the grass on the far side, waiting. You're halfway across when it moves, coming out of the grass fast and low with its body already at full stretch. You turn and run for the western scrub with your legs driving hard into the dirt, but the open stretch is wide and you were already in the middle of it. The fox closes the gap in a few seconds. It takes you at the base of the neck and shakes once. Hard. You go still in the open ground between the scrub and the rocky rise. In the exact stretch of dirt you crossed every single day without a second thought, the fox carries you into the grass, and somewhere back across the patch, a small shape is pushing its snout into the dirt near the eastern log, pulling up whatever it can find.